transitioned into an evacuation mode, and with law enforcement, they were able to evacuate the residents in 2 structures before they became engulfed in flame. It took quite a significant effort from fire departments throughout all of Salt Lake County, including Park City, and those necessary resources to get this fire underneath control. Currently, right now, we have 79 individuals that have been displaced due to this fire. They're not going to be able to return to their homes at the earliest until tomorrow morning sometime. We are still actively working this fire scene right now and anticipate doing so throughout the night. Questions?
Do you know the status of the apartment building that was affected, if they had to have insurance at all? Do you know any of those details?
I do not.
And then the structure of the damaged apartment buildings.
Okay.
Can you give us details on the damage to them and what their status is right now?
So the way that I understand it is that the fire came up through that south side and got up into the attic space on both of those. So there's significant fire damage in the roof and that attic structure, and then the 3rd floor. The damage also through that 2nd floor and that main floor is considerable water damage due to the extinguishment efforts from the fire crews on scene. The adjacent structures, that is going to be isolated to smoke damage on those, and because we're actively working those affected structures, it's going to be a while before we can get in and to ensure that it's a habitable environment. So we're going to work closely with building inspectors through Millcreek, and we'll ascertain the availability for residents to gain access on those unaffected structures as quickly as possible.
Are the 2 most damaged, that total loss?
I would leave that up to insurance adjusters. I know that there's significant damage. My rough construction background, I'd have to say they are probably pretty close.
Any injuries to report?
We did have 4 injuries to firefighters. Those are minor injuries. Nothing that required stays at hospitals. So they've been released back to work, but we did sustain some injuries today on this fire scene.
What are the fire dangers that your crews are keeping an eye on overnight?
A lot of it is just flare-ups, right? They're gonna continue to work to one, completely ensure that the field fire side doesn't have any additional flare-ups, right? So we have crews that are currently there actively working to ensure through mop-up procedures that it is cold to the touch, that there are no hidden embers that could rise up and float into adjacent fields that haven't caught fire yet. Now, in regards to the structure itself, there's going to be some precautions that are taking place in regards to re-entry into them, just due to the structural integrity of those buildings. So we're going to take extra precautions to ensure that when we do enter, to ensure that it's completely extinguished, that we're doing it in a safe fashion to ensure that there's no other injuries sustained on this fire.
Last time we talked, you said it was someone mowing the lawn that caused this. Do you have any more details on that?
I don't. What do you guys have? You guys probably have more information than I do.
Well, we're hearing that it might have been a public utilities worker.
I couldn't comment on that. I don't know.
The residents who are being displaced, do
Yes.
they have some options tonight on where to go?
100% they do. Currently, right now, the obvious first option is to work with to their family members, right? Do they have somebody local that they can stay with? That's the obvious first one. Red Cross is here, and they are, or those folks that don't have family members to stay with, they're working with Red Cross to secure lodging for tonight, and we'll see how long it goes, especially for the affected structures, how far they're going to extend that out. But they are working with Red Cross on that.
And I heard that some people are maybe gonna be put in a hotel potentially, or having a little room here. Is that?
We do know that currently right now the Red Cross is working with the church to keep this opened up as a shelter, but obviously how long of a situation that is, that's to be determined.
The Willow Glen Apartments, is it a 3-floor structure?
It is. Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of community members come out, donate things, even as little as phone chargers.
Sure.
What does that say about the community that comes out and supports people who maybe they don't even know?
I think it's a reflection of how awesome the community really is, right? To step up and do little things like that. You don't realize what you've lost until you lose it. And so they might have had a phone on their person, and to your point, a phone charger, while a little thing, is really actually super big for a lot of these folks tonight.
Your firefighters, they have been working tirelessly
Sure.
all day.
Yep.
Conditions are hot, it's been windy.
Yep.
You mentioned 4 injuries. Can you just talk to their bravery and speak to that?
Well, in a weird way, it's just part of the job. The unique side of it is the complexity of this call. It started off as a field fire, which when we arrive, there's a certain mindset that goes into that type of a fire attack. But when it spreads to a different, in this case, an apartment structure, now we're getting additional resources because now we have 2 different incidences that we're dealing with. The field fire that is still doing what it's doing, and now we have an apartment fire with residents that we have to make sure that they're out, pets, and then obviously the fire associated with it. So it does become complex, but when we break it down to the fundamentals, we look at each incident independently. And so in that situation, we had 2 different divisions that were being run, that those divisions had incident command structures in place, and they were attacking it with those resources that they had in their division. So it's a beautifully orchestrated event with many different agencies that were involved, and surprisingly, with the 4 minor injuries that were sustained, it could have been significantly worse.
You mentioned before that this was something that you'd never really seen in your career, you know, as everything was still kind of, you know, getting pretty crazy. Now that we're a few hours away, obviously everything's not finished yet. What do you think now? What are your thoughts?
In regards to the folks that are displaced, it's hard to quantify it over a long career. It's shocking to me when any event that we encounter impacts so many people all at once, and for those folks that literally have lost all of their belongings, all of their family mementos, photo albums, those types of things. It really resonates with you how personal and heartbreaking an event like this can be.
Actually, I have one more question. Can you comment on the, you were talking a little bit earlier about like this is one of the, I guess, craziest things that you've seen in a while here, or since you've been on the job, or what were you saying about that?
Well, just how it quickly unfolded. I think that okay, so when we back up and we talk about the field fire, how quickly it spread to that apartment complex and how little time the residents had to evacuate before it became completely unstable. The help of firefighters and law enforcement to get in there quickly and to evacuate every single unit. So a very personal search of 24 units to ensure that everybody is removed. That type of stuff doesn't happen where it is that dynamic and that explosive of an environment right now.
The community has been asking how can they help. Do you know is the Red Cross accepting any donations, or how can the community help out?
I would imagine that the Red Cross always is. I think that would probably be something that the Red Cross could speak more specifically to. But I would reach out to the Red Cross and ask them what their needs are. They're currently talking with each one of these residents and trying to determine what they need, whether or not they have small children, they have a need for formula or diapers. What type of needs do they have for clothes for small children? All those things could be accessed through the Red Cross. So I think that would be a good resource to reach out to see how our local community members could assist in that regard.
Are we still at 24 units?
24 units that are affected either through fire or water damage. I couldn't tell you how many units are affected just by the smoke damage being adjacent to those structures.
We've heard pets have been lost. Do you have any information on that?
That's a really good question. That I can't speak to specifically, because as we're doing the search, obviously animals are going to self-extricate from their environment. They're not going to tend to stay in one of those things. So doors get opened and pets make a dash for it. So on that front, I can't speak to how many pets are lost and could be reunited or are just lost. So it would be hard for me to even comment on that. Anything else?
I think you got it.
All right. Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate it. So just FYI, we have tentatively set a time for them to check social medias. We're going to end up pushing stuff out through Salt Lake County Emergency Management, through UFA's social medias, and through Millcreek's social media, and that's how they're going to get some information specific to reentry tomorrow. So now some of the folks that are of the unaffected structures are going to be able to go in with escorts and get some very specific necessary type of medicines and those types of things, but they're not going to be able to package up mass quantities of stuff prior to leaving. It really is to just get in some very specific items for the night.